If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, give us a call at 773-527-2961 or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 476. Still Got Game, the official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Chris Selden, 007 Selden.
And it's just the two of us this week.
Just two?
Yeah. Remember that week we had 5? Yeah, it was so nice. but now we're back to 2, but 2 is greater than 0. So
and Tiffany was almost here. She was almost here. I could tell. Something must have happened.
Yeah, she was just right on the brink. Loves doing the show. But Selden and I will try to drive this train directly into your hellhole. So, and if you're in chat right now and you want to join us and help contribute to the show, absolutely say something and we'll try to work your stuff in the show. It's almost like you're a fake host. So definitely do that. But why don't we just jump right in the mailbag for feedback and questions from our last episode. And remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, which some people used to until they became a host, lots of people used to, but now no one does. But if you want to leave us one, we'll cut you off after a minute. All right. Samantha the Great comments. Well, that was short-lived. Please let Electrify know that she represents a voice that is sorely missing on most gaming podcasts, and the primary reason yours is my favorite.
The way you read that came off very mean.
Well, that's kind of how I felt it. I felt like Samantha the Great felt betrayed by Electrify, so I was trying to read it that way. If I was wrong, Samantha the Great, and you were more like just beating around the bush, then I apologize. But I felt like you were a little upset, so I read it that way.
I guess when I read it in a sad voice, like she was disappointed.
Oh, like, well, that was short-lived. Please let her Electrify know that she represents a voice sorely missing on most gaming podcasts, and the primary reason yours is my favorite. It goes to show I can apply tons of different cadence to this and change the comment altogether. Wow. All right. Samantha, I have no idea what you wanted, but I covered you both ways. So I hound her every week during dinner before the show to come do the show, but it's tough. So I'll try to do my best.
Maybe you should give her some of that Still Got Game money. Give her a little raise.
Yeah, I'll give her 100% of the Still Got Game profits.
I'm gonna double the salary she currently gets.
I'll quadruple it. All right, next up, Little Mike D asks, I just recently discovered your podcast about a month or so ago on Amazon. Funny, you were talking about it on the show. I believe the show's introduction is done by Hitman changing his voice, and it says the show is Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert. Is that Hitman? Who is Joel Dude I Rock Albert? Is this why the show image is 2 dudes and not all of you? Please help me clear up my confusion. Great show.
I can't believe this topic's never been brought up.
Yeah, this is pretty fucked up. Yeah. So at one point the show was the Tool to Play co-founders, Joel Dude I Rock Albert and myself, and we needed an intro, and Hit put together the intro, and in order to sound like a cool radio guy, he changed his voice a little bit. Well, Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan, Joel Dude I Rock Albert. But then eventually he became a host. Oh, and we had someone create that cool tile for the show. That's me and Joel Dude I Rock Albert. He's dorking out in World of Warcraft, and I got console controllers and playing more of a Halo look. So that was the show for a long time. And then once the show changed and it became what it is now, Hit became a co-host of the show, which is, I guess, is weird for people that hear him say that it's someone else on doing the show. And then now we have Selden and Yant and Tiff. So yeah, so I guess we're overdue for a new intro, and we're overdue for a new tile.
So long. It's been long that way.
I know it's so easy just not to fix it. All right. Well, if any of you out there are the creative types, and you know what the current intro sounds like. So as long as you're not using copyrighted music or ever, if you want to put together an intro that's more like Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan, Roger Hitman Roken, Tiffany Electrify Nolan, Chris Selden 007 Selden, and James Yontog Yont. Woof. Or you can leave out the woof for the intro. Or you want to put together, like you can see our faces on our YouTube or Facebook or Twitch videos. If you want to make a little chiclet for the show, that'd be pretty awesome. They are 1400 by 1400 resolution, so you can operate in pretty high res, and then they shrink down to whatever thing. But if you're a creative type and you feel like doing that, and you're a fan, please do.
And we'll pay you with mentions on the show.
yes. We'll toot your horn in the show. If you have a Fiverr and you just want people to like go buy shit off you for $5 at a pop or whatever, we'll pimp your Fiverr. It's like free advertising. You throw us a bone, we'll throw you a bone. So, like our Tool to Play voicemail system that handles all of our extensions and calls for Tool to Play proper. That intro was done, or that voicemail thing was done by someone from Fiverr themselves. So if you'd like to talk to Derek and T. Smooth Nolan, enter extension blank. If you want to do this, blank. If you want the Tool to Play, I guess that's out of date too, because it's still called the Tool to Type Radio Hotline. But yeah, time to update that voicemail too. But yeah, but please do let us know. And if you want to send something, send it to podcast@tooltoplay.com. And if it's not complete shit and it's better than what we got, we will use it and we will credit you and we'll pimp whatever you got. So it doesn't even have to be a Fiverr. We'll pimp your web design business, your audio intro business, whatever you got.
Your NFT site.
No, maybe not. But no. All right. Next up, Bondage69 asks, you all came back from the long holiday hiatus and never talked about your 2021 Game of the Years. What were they? Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
It's literally like, besides Forza, it's the only game I played. I hated
Forza,
games for all of 2021.
Yeah, I would have to actually think about that. I know I read this comment earlier in the day. I thought about putting together a list, but it's just, at this point, it's past the point where we really should be listing our games of the year for last year. So
plus,
let's look forward to our games of the year this coming year, 2022.
Yeah, Selden, you just don't have a big enough spreadsheet. You broke Excel trying to track how many games you played this year. So, and even Excel sometimes was like, you entered a game name and it's like, the fuck? So
this doesn't exist.
So yeah, Halo Infinite, and we'll talk more about this next year. We're leaving ourselves plenty of time to figure this out. All right, and last but not least, LTS asks, Ubisoft has been under even more increased scrutiny over the past couple of weeks, adding more to their 24-month employee bad news cycle. Do you think they would benefit from a Bobby Kotick style acquisition to reset their image? If so, who would you see as a potential acquirer?
I mean, we're going to talk about it probably a little bit later, but like
there's only a limited handful of places. Yes,
these companies are getting bought up like hot commodities these days. So yeah, so I don't know.
Ubisoft,
anybody could probably pick them up. So
yeah, I think this could go either way. Like if you're just talking about the big two, this could be an Xbox acquisition. It could be a Sony acquisition. So it just depends on how deep your pockets are, and because Ubisoft's pretty big, wide breadth of games. They do have a shitload of social problems in their company. And I do think like perhaps they could benefit from someone else taking the reins and imparting their rights and controls and culture.
Yeah, even being bought up by somebody doesn't necessarily mean that problems go away.
No, you need,
like,
yeah.
Even now, I think I read a story. I don't know if is it in our stories about the union for Activision is seeking.
No.
them to still look into the issues at Activision Blizzard before, even though the announcement for the acquisition has been made, they still want the shit to be investigated and find out what's going on. So just because they're being bought up by something doesn't mean it's just brushed under the rug and gone away.
No, well, as someone whose company was acquired within the last year or two, that acquisition was announced way back in the beginning of 2019. So it takes a long time for these things to happen. So if it's going to take 2 years for the acquisition to go through, those people don't want to live in that shit for 2 more years. So yes, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's possible that it could be a culture changer. As part of my own acquisition, I feel like the culture is already adapting and changing to that of our acquirer. So yeah, I think it could be a good thing. But all right,
some cleaning of house.
Yes, definitely needed. If any of you have questions or want feedback or questions for us, give us a call, 773-527-2961, and I really mean call us, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com, and we'll handle your questions on next week's episode. All right, on that, why don't we move on over to what we're playing? Selden, what have you been playing this week?
Main thing has been Halo Infinite. Got back into some more multiplayer, played with some of the old Tool Play members, the over 50 crowd. I got to join in on their Tuesday over 50. Any of you?
Selden is over 50, guys. That's why he plays with them.
No, I'm not over 50.
He's so old.
I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet.
Then how could you possibly play with them unless you were breaking the rules?
I was invited from a couple of Tool the Pwn members that I used to play with all the time. They invited me to come play. They said, we'll make an exception for you. But no, if you're from the old Tool the Play site and you're over 50 and you want to get back together with some of the older crowd that used to play together, I think it used to be the over 40 crowd, but now obviously it's the over 50 crowd. But yeah, they're a great group of guys. They have some great custom games that they've been throwing together, so it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, just reach out to us on our Discord channel and I'll hook you up with the right people.
So by custom games, you mean the ones that don't count towards anything?
Yeah, the custom games that don't count towards anything, but they, just wild, wacky game types and stuff like that, like 0G gravity ones, and pistol SWAT and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. They mix it up, keep it entertaining.
Not
they've been running
anything.
Yeah, they've been running a lot of really large rooms the last couple of weeks, it seems. So you know what? It's a lot of fun. So they're looking to branch out to other nights if they can get other people that don't quite meet the over 50 crowd that still want to play. So definitely hit us up on the Discord and I'll hook you up with those guys. Other than that, got back into Grounded for a little bit because they put out some updates. I haven't played it in a while, so I went back in there and checked some things out. So they expanded the map. It's almost 2 to 3 times bigger than what it originally was just a few months ago. So it's been pretty exciting. They got some new added creatures and stuff like that in there, so it's a lot of fun. My base is still there. They haven't remapped the area that I had my base, so I'm good. But some of the stuff that I had built in the Outer Lands has been wiped because they relayed the whole groundwork on it. But other than that, Hitman 3 hit Game Pass. So
so many hits in that sentence. Yes.
I know. Too bad Hitman isn't here to talk about Hitman 3.
Yes.
So, but that's about it for me. What about you, Derek?
Well, before I get to mine, I've never actually played Grounded. Like, what keeps drawing you back to it?
It's a unique perspective on the survival game because it's the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type thing. You're miniaturized in the backyard and like all the insects are huge and it's
I know the premise. Like
that, It's got the Minecraft building aspect of it, and the survival aspect. So I was swimming through sewer pipes fighting bell spiders and stuff like that. It was pretty fun. So it's entertaining.
Pretty much I wouldn't like this.
No, you probably would hate every minute of it.
Okay, that's why I've been holding off, but now you've confirmed it. So yeah.
But it's all the new areas, it's new things to find out, new maze puzzles to figure out and solve and stuff like that. So it's a good game to fall back on every now and then and play. So
all right, maybe I'll ask one of the kids to play it and I'll watch them. That way I'm not
There you go.
committed, and it doesn't show up on my recently played. So, because I actually
Play
care
under one
about
of your
that.
other profiles.
Oh, I even care about D Ruff's things. I don't want people to think he's a loser either. So,
Well, if you ever want, I could throw my world up on. I can load it up into the multiplayer, so you can just jump in and check out what's going on and see the structures I built. So,
all right, maybe one day when I got head trauma, I fell and bumped my head or something, but we'll see. All right. Well, I, on the other hand, have been playing a shit ton of Halo Infinite. Obviously, finished all the battle pass and everything else. I'm just having fun right now, and I have been playing some more stuff. Like the Backbone is probably the single greatest device that, like, I never felt like the phone was a gaming device ever. I know Selden thinks it's the primary one, but this thing has actually made it fun to play some certain types of games that you would normally play on a console with a controller, and or even game streaming stuff from the Xbox. So yeah, really enjoying the shit out of it. So those of you that are watching the stream can tell that Selden is not paying any attention remotely to the show, but he's back.
Sorry.
I think
I had family members come down looking for something from me. That
wow.
Only I know where it is. So.
Oh no. All right.
Sorry about that.
Well, on that, why don't we move on over to the new releases? The only new release. Oh no, Selden, go ahead. Yep.
I wanted to get into the Backbone. The Backbone is the joystick thing that flaps around your the Apple phone, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Yeah, because I got the Razer one for the Android, and it's an awesome attachment for any phone, and you know it's great with Game Pass and stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely really not for shooters.
No, definitely not for shooters.
The size of the screen, the latency is too much, but for other games, racing games, you name it, it's really fun. So
yeah, in fact, I did play a little bit of that game I talked about last week, Death's Door, on my phone. I was streaming to the cloud, so
nice.
It's a good one for like those type of games. So
yeah, those devices are highly recommended. All right, now on to the new releases. Only one out this week. It's Dying Light 2 Stay Human, out for the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Switch, and the PC. I didn't ever play Dying Light except at conventions. Like I played through the first level. I played like parts that were jumped all over the place, but it was never my style of game. But it's good to see that it had enough interest between, I think it came out in like 2015. Between then and now to pump out a second one. So, but not on my short list at all.
Yeah, it's not going to be a pickup by me either, unfortunately. You know, it's got some legs. It's got a following, but it's just not something that looks I'm going to be going out to get. So, I think I'm almost done with the whole zombie post-apocalyptic type of games.
It's getting repetitive.
Yeah, a little bit.
a little bit. All right. Well, I guess on that, why don't we hop on over into gaming news? And if you are in chat right now, you want to discuss some gaming news, you want to bring up a story we don't cover, fucking drop it in the chat. Chat's been pretty quiet tonight, so definitely drop it in there, and we'll see if we can cover it. So, first story: Sony buying Bungie for $3.6 billion. Now, there's a lot of undercurrent to this. Bungie has been bought before and asked to be unbought. And that happened because remember, one time Microsoft owned Bungie. There's that aspect. Then there's an aspect of, well, Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard for $68 billion. And this seems like a really shitty stab at comeuppance on that. So I don't know. Bungie makes one game that they broke and fucked up, and I'm not sure that this is a good deal.
It's just weird to me, and the way I put it in one of the chats today, I was like, Sony buying Bungie isn't really a story because they've been in bed together for a number of years.
Yeah, as soon as left Microsoft, they became like the exclusive partner. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, they've been pumping out exclusive content for PlayStation only since the whole Destiny
1.
Yeah. So it's not. This is more of, like you said, it's a stab at the Microsoft deal, but it's it's a stab to try to appease the
shareholders,
yeah. The shareholders, the fanboys, and to a publicity stunt. It's
yeah.
Halo's making some big news, but it's not Bungie's anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and all Bungie has really on the table right now is Destiny. Mm-hmm. I know they have other titles in the works, and maybe we're not seeing what they're seeing behind the scenes of what other projects and IPs they're working on, but it doesn't seem like Sony needed to buy them. No. It's like they've already had exclusive contracts and exclusive deals, and they've been in bed together for years. So I'm like, it's more like we're going to say we're going to spend $3.6 billion, but we're just probably going to pay off some of your debt, and you're going to keep working with us.
Yeah,
and Bungie's even come out and said that we're not going exclusive to Sony. We're still going to manage our own stuff. We're still going to pump it out to every platform. But it's the underwriting is there. They're still going to give Sony exclusive stuff. So nothing's really changing except there's this mystical $3.6 billion story out there now. So
it's more like Sony wanted to like show that they could whip their dick out, be like, nope, there it is. But like when Microsoft's like, we're wielding our dick, and then Sony's like, stab. Like it's different levels of cock charcuterie, and one plate is very full of cock and the other one is not so much. It's almost embarrassing that they did this, to be honest.
And honestly, if you're buying on the history, so many people have left Bungie over the last few years that were in the original Halo days.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, what talent pool is still there that you're buying from the name? It's
even our buddy Deej left from community management. He left. Like, I don't know many people that from the original Bungie that are still there.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good to see that they're getting some money. Bungie is, and I hope for the best for them in the future. And I'm still going to buy their games. I'm still going to play their game. I'm not saying that they're shitty or anything. I know you hate Destiny 2 really raised you down.
Yeah, because the way I word it is this way: we all were into Destiny 1 hardcore, and we were addicted. And then Destiny 2 came out, and Destiny 2 was like almost like when they did the great erase and start over, and we were so addicted that we were like, oh, okay. And then we still played tons of it because we were like in an abusive relationship with Bungie, where they were like, you're going to take it and like it. Fuck you. And then at some point we realized this is unhealthy. And we stepped back and we broke free, and I'm not going to let them trap me down that path again in Destiny 3. I'm done forever. They did not put players first. They put their own interest first, and burn in hell, Bungie. Fuck you.
Yeah, maybe we'll finally see that pirate game that Bungie's always talked about they wanted to make.
Yeah.
But
fuck those guys. All right, next story.
It'll be interesting to see. So. Next story, let's go with arcade one-up cabinets get a big discount at Best Buy. Looks like I looked at some of these things earlier today. It looked like they're getting like $100 to $150 off on some of these cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really intriguing, but I still don't.
The price is still too high.
The price is still too high. It's like because they're not full-size cabinets. They're still that mini cabinet, and they only play like 1 or 2 games. I want one that's going to play like 30 or 40 games. I don't want to.
You can side load games onto them, but
I know, but I want the whole shebang right there in front. Like I want.
Yeah.
So these are really cool things. Like I was talking to a guy the other day. Actually, it was kind of funny. He was asking me about cabinets and stuff like that. I'm like, you really want to start looking at some of the. They have these auctions and stuff like that where they get the whole giant cabs, and you can go back to the the old 80s arcade style, and they refurbish these things. And I'm like, and that's probably going to be a better trophy in your basement in your man cave than one of these new little mini cabs, because you're going to get uncomfortable playing it.
Yeah, playing one game on a real cab is better than playing 4 games on a mini cab.
Yeah, and then I was like, in honesty, if you're looking to put something in your man cave or your basement that's going to be like that eye-popping thing, I think I would go with a pinball table rather than a mini cab.
Yep.
I'm like, because the pinball game is going to be the same pinball game, but it's still a pinball game.
It's pinball.
You put a mini cab, it's just going to be a freaking thing that you're going to hang your clothes on or throw blankets over.
No. We have two of those arcade 1-up mini cabs at work, and they're not in the game room, and they're not highly utilized. But they're a little bit cool, but like I know Yaunt has one, and I can't even imagine Andre the Yauntant like standing over this thing, and he's supposedly playing multiplayer games with his family. Like he could literally crush them all. Yes, or he could eat it. Yes, one or the other. But that aside, $150 off for most of these, $100 for some. If this was a gate for someone, and and that was your limit to go from 700 down to 550 or 600, this is probably the time to go to Best Buy and pick these things up. But for me, they were never the right form factor. They would never, like, if someone came in to my basement here where we have beer taps and we have all this cool shit, and they're like, oh, you got some mini arcades. And then, like, I would just feel embarrassed by that. Like, that's not something I want. Like, people, I want someone to come in and say, like, oh, holy shit, you got arcade shit in here? Or you got a pinball? Pinball machine is the right thing. As long as you pick the right one that's something cool and badass that you could play over and over and over and over, that's probably your go-to. But for those that want the arcade 1-up, Best Buy's throwing you a solid.
I just think you're better to go to a full cabinet or go pinball.
Yep. But if you're short, this is for you. So, yes. All right. Next story. Halo Infinite Big Team Battle patch in the works. More shop changes coming. Cat Ear DLC returning. So, this Big Team Battle, I know that some of you guys are like, oh my god, I can't believe this shit's still broken. I wouldn't play that shit if someone fucking paid me to fuck it. I don't even give a shit. Like, that's the worst game mode ever. Big Team Battle. But I guess it's still broken. But there are changes coming to the shop. I guess people have been complaining that they can't spend their money on cosmetics easy enough, and they're timed. So, 343 is working on that. And I know that Tiff missed the Cat Ear DLC. Which she was really sad about because she would have spent real money on that. And they were very clear that in this new rotation where stuff is coming back, that one is 100% coming back. So
I just don't get the Barbie shit. I was getting made fun of the other night because I still have like my original skin on my Halo guy. Like,
oh yeah,
like I just don't see. I don't see the purpose of spending real cash on Barbie dress up. I don't.
Did you play through the Battle Pass yet?
No, I haven't finished the Battle Pass yet. No.
Do you put that stuff on at least, though?
Sometimes, occasionally, I'll go and I'll throw on a new chess piece or something like that, but I'm not spending real cash.
But you don't have the cool fire. It's once you get high in the Battle Pass, you get all the fire shit, and that's all the shit I got on. But yeah.
But it's just when you have to pay $10 for a helmet that you don't see except your splash screen when you start the game. Everybody else can see you. I don't give a shit. If it's something I want to be able to see it on myself. If it was third person and I had to watch myself in it, maybe I'd be more interested. But Halo is a first-person shooter, and you don't see your character while you're playing. Well, so why?
Well, they did say that some of those. Originally those packs of like bundles were 2,000 credits or whatever they call them. That's almost $20. That's absurd. So then in their first swag at fixing this, they knocked them down to $10. Better, but not quite right. So now they're at least saying that moving forward, they're also going to try to offer those items instead of just in a bundle separately, which
because really you're going to spend more money because you're going to have to buy each individual.
No, you'll still be able to buy the bundle, but you'll also be able to buy them separately. So for someone that like, because Tiff has said tons of times, like, I might get that because I want that one thing, and like now this is the solution to that problem of someone overbuying. She hasn't given in yet, but at any given time, enough drinks she could. So, but I think they're making steps in the right direction, trying to figure this
Yeah.
out. And like we talked about last week, that next season in the Battle Pass, like whenever that starts in May, that you're gonna start finally. They're gonna give credits in the Battle Pass like Call of Duty did. They're working their way to do something right. So
It's like they try to make it more profitable and change the game of what the battle passes are. And they're slowly realizing that people don't want that change. They want the battle pass in a battle pass form that they're always used to.
yeah.
And so they're scaling back their grand ideas of things and giving the players what they want, which is good, but it's still this constant tweaking. It's like, well, we're gonna keep chipping back a little bit at a time until we find the comfortable spot. Instead of saying, all right, we fucked up, we're going back to what everybody's expecting, and we're going to go back to the base of what everybody would pay for things. But no, they're still trying to marginalize the profits and stuff like that to make sure that they get their money. But
well, if you remember, we all got Halo Infinite for free multiplayer, so
it's true.
And not just because we're Game Pass. Everybody did.
No. I bought the Halo Edition Xbox. That's why I got it.
Oh, yeah. You made an error. So, yes.
I still love that thing, but anyway.
All right. Next story.
NHL 2022 adds women's team for the first time. Actually, this is kind of an exciting little change up to what we've seen, because women's hockey, especially with the Winter Olympics coming up, it always gets a boost in viewership and popularity, and I think it's an exciting game to watch the women's hockey. It ranks right up there with the men's and stuff like that, and I can totally see this working in a video game format, and people being able to play their favorites on the ice. So I think this is a great move by them. I think this is an innovative way of bringing that into the game, and I think it's the right time. So
yeah, I think there's 10 teams they're bringing in, which is good. Like it's not just like they're throwing a bone and taking like the women's Olympic team or anything. They're like 10 legit teams. So you figure that's a whole bunch of assets for players and everything else and teams. And so it's not like they half-ass committed. They seem to be going in the right direction here. But I think this is well overdue as well. And I think we're going to start seeing this change with many games. I know there's sports that have women breakthroughs in them that are still quote unquote men's sports. Like I have a friend from college whose daughter plays is the captain of the hockey team for it's not called a men's hockey team, it's just the hockey team, but she tried out and she's the captain now and kicks ass. But I think we may be moving more to this, like, hey, sports are sports, who gives a shit? So I think we're moving in the right direction. All right. Next story. New single-player Gwent game is in the works at CD Projekt Red. So if you remember, this is some bullshit card game that goes along with The Witcher. And I know The Witcher's back. It's popular. The new thing was fucking so awesome. We binged it in 3 days. But if you're putting your development resources on stuff, CD Projekt Red has this little game called Cyberpunk that still isn't done yet. And it's still full of bugs. And maybe that's where you throw your sack to that than to make a new Witcher card game. But I'm not in charge of CD Projekt Red. I love those guys. Like the best E3 booths ever, best getting people wasted at your booth ever. But yeah,
obviously their entire development staff was drunk too. This
yeah,
CD Projekt Red, they need something. They need to drop Cyberpunk, because it's they're Duke Nukem forever at this point. They are never going to recover from it. The game's never going to be what they originally intended or visioned or hoped for. And it's a disaster. And it's nice that they're focusing towards another project. And this is something they could shovelware out. I'm sure the card game or whatever the game is. but it's not something I'm interested in. And they're probably years away from dropping another big title. I don't know how far the next Witcher game is going to be out. So
As much as I wanted Cyberpunk to be good too, and it was good before the release version of the game, it was a different game. But at the same time, maybe they should have just stuck on making Witcher games forever. Like,
yeah,
no one knows the Witcher books better than these guys. They could have just done one after another, especially with the Netflix series coming, one after another, and you constantly have this interest in like you watch Witcher on Netflix and they're talking about the Wild Hunt all the time. Witcher 3 was the Wild Hunt. Like, you're like, I know that thing. I'm ahead of the game. Like, just stick with what you know. Don't fuck something else up.
I really wish I would have played the betas or whatever, the pre-games that were different than what they put out, because I love the concept of the whole steampunk and future, cyberpunk, motif and storylines, but it's just, they messed it up.
Yeah, imagine making a game that was so awesome, but you just didn't have the rest of the story and the assets behind it. And then you were like, well, we have to release in 3 months, so let's scale back the game and make it fit with the assets that we can produce in that amount of time. And that's not, it was terrible. A terrible decision. It was almost a completely different game.
Sort of like Gears of War for you.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Like the early Gears of War when it was first person shooter, and then all of a sudden we're like third person hider. Like, but Cliffy B and I have made up about that. Even the other day, we just posted a picture of us together, like hugging on Twitter. So yeah, got that going for us.
Oh, you both posted it?
Well, I didn't. He retweeted it, but yeah.
yeah.
So,
all right, that's good enough.
Yeah. All right, so next story.
All right, next story. Roblox developers and creators earned over $500 million in Robux during 2021. This isn't really a surprise, even though it shouldn't happen. Roblox is an intensely popular game. It's gone through its ups and downs, it's had its controversies, but it's a constant game with especially the younger generation of kids and their ability to get in and play some different custom games that guys make and stuff like that. It's surprising that they made 500 million in Robux, but it's not, because this game has got so much content within what the creators have developed in the game. And especially during a 2020 pandemic year when every kid is at home and stuck and can't go out. And the only way they get to play with their friends is either through Minecraft or Roblox. So, it was a perfect storm that hit for them, and they made the money on it. So good for them.
Yeah, it is an impressive number. Reminds me a lot of what was that thing called? Second Life. When people could create shit in there and sell it and make real world money. That's an impressive amount of real world money.
Yeah. Yes, and that's this is I can see this being, somebody needs to capitalize it in the future with NFTs and stuff like that in a Roblox type of game,
because NFTs is now the dirty word for everything. Yeah,
I know, but it's a perfect opportunity for somebody to figure it out, and they can capitalize on making a certain game type and making an NFT, so then anybody that plays it has to pay type thing and stuff like that. So it's a pyramid scheme of what it is, where they keep getting paid by paid. So, but it's Roblox has done it. They've done a good job of figuring out how to get kids to spend their parents' money within the game. So, and they're not expensive games. They're usually the Roblox bucks are pretty cheap, and the items that you can get are pretty cheap within it. But
and they add up to 500 million.
Yeah, they add up to 500 million at the end of the day. It's like taking that half cent and rounding it up type of scheme. So they're doing a good job. So good on them.
Oh, jinx. All right. Next story. Halo TV series premieres March 24th. So, in case you live in a cave, The trailer dropped for this during the football game the other day, but now you can watch it online. Uh, some whiny internet bitches don't like that Master Chief's voice is not Master Chief exactly. He does a good close approximation. Some people whine about Cortana not being blue enough and she looks too much like a hologram. Um, but they already had told us prior, like, this is like not quite the same time. This is like a different uh, multiverse, if you will, of Halo, so that they can tell different stories. I watched that trailer and I was fucking jizzing all over the place. Like I can't wait for this shit. So I'm not sure what everybody's problem is, but I cannot wait for this at all.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I thought it was, I got excited at first, and I was just excited for a long time, and then I went back and rewatched the trailer today, and I'm starting to get a little mixed feelings on. I really gotta watch it and figure out what's going on, but it's almost like they're trying to make Master Chief like an anti-hero, like he's going to be the bad guy, rogue guy, and they're trying to make uh, somebody else possibly the good savior within the game, but within the
get that at
show.
all.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. As I said, I was super excited about it, and I'm kind of tossed up right now. I'm like, they better do the right thing with this, or else it's going to be a freaking shit show on the internet. So
I think they are. This is pulling the storyline from Halo 5, where what's her name, I can't remember her name, Doctor whatever, whoever she is. Like, this program was taking little kids and fucking them up to become these super soldiers. So
yeah.
I feel like this is right along the Halo lore, pure. So I
I
can't
think that's what's going to happen. Is they got to tread a very fine line with the Halo community, because the Halo community is going to treat this as any book nerd has ever treated a movie rendition of the favorite book that they ever read.
Yep.
Like if they fuck up one aspect of this, they're gonna get the rage of the internet trolls on them big time, because it's gonna be your Halo fanboys that are gonna be the most outspoken about anything changing from the timeline from the book or from the game.
Well, see I think that's why they tried to get ahead of this. They said, we could do a show based exactly on the books and the video game, but it's very limited in that case. If we take things and kind of just gently separate them, so the way that with Halo's discovered and everything else are just slightly different, then we can tell a really robust story in the Halo universe. And I have no problem with that. That's the difference between watching the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man than the Andrew Garfield one. They're all Spider-Mans. They're different universes. And we enjoyed all of them at those times because they weren't the same. And that's how we have to look at this, is like, it's someone's rebooting it, and this is a reboot.
But this is where Hitman would come in and say, Derek, you're fucking wrong, because he's going to go back to your hatred of the original comics books compared to some of the games that have been released recently, and how they don't use the same voices, they don't use the same character model, they don't use the same storyline.
There's some things that should be the same, there's some that shouldn't. So yes, yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I really hope it gets knocked out of the park and it's awesome. I really hope so, because I really want to enjoy it. But I'm just so afraid that they're going to fuck it up.
Well, I'm willing to give it a shot.
As I said, I think I'm more excited about the next Lord of the Rings series coming out in the fall than I am over the Halo thing, because the Lord of the Rings has been told in a lot of different ways off the original books.
Too many ways
at this point.
Yes, yeah.
At this point, it's acceptable, but within the Halo, we had the one little short internet series that was a Halo, real life action show it was pretty good. They did a good job with that, and I really enjoyed that. But really, there's never been any ventures outside of the Halo books that try to fill in the gaps of the Halo lore, and I'm so scared that they're gonna fuck it up.
Well, we'll take that risk, Selden, and in March we'll know.
Yeah.
All right, next story or potentially last story, depending on which one you pick.
Oh, I really like this one. I read this one earlier also. Microsoft will stop billing dormant Game Pass subscriptions in 2 years.
Last story. Yes.
I think this is a good move by them. If an account has gone dead and has been on auto renewal, it sounds like they're going to do the right thing and try to close these accounts and stop taking money from possibly somebody that's been dead.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's dead. It's not as nefarious as you make it seem. This came from the UK about creating a law around this because it's one of those forgotten subscription things. Like someone used to be hardcore Xbox, and then they're like switched whatever they're doing, and then like December comes around, their thing gets renewed, and they're like, oh shit, I got fucking Game Pass again. I gotta remember to cancel that. And then life happens, and then a whole nother year goes by, and then they get, oh shit, fucking Game Pass again. What the fuck? So the UK made a law around this that Microsoft has to bend to follow, and they have a 2-year buffer to do it. And they're not doing it nefariously. Like, I would much rather, like, the only reason when Microsoft was giving away consoles to every motherfuck at the 20th anniversary, I had like a 1 month lapse in my subscription from the beta days because that credit card had expired and I was not correctly informed of all this. I would love them to just keep fucking billing me. So,
but I guess I look at it from all the January gym memberships that they go to the gym for the month of January and then they don't go to the gym for the next 11 months. Like, I would like to see a law passed, hey, if somebody hasn't been to your gym in 10 months, you can't auto renew them for another year.
I don't know, man.
Let
the buyer beware. Caveat emptor.
I just think it's a good consumer policy to have something like this in place. So,
well, now Microsoft's the good guy.
Yeah, good job, Microsoft.
Meanwhile, no one's talking about Sony. I haven't turned on my PlayStation 5 in a fucking year, but they just rebuild me, so.
I think my Nintendo.
Oh, my Nintendo Switch one just rebuilt too, like a few weeks ago. Yes, yeah. I was like.
I don't think you've cleaned the dust off of that in 12 months.
No, so. None of them have been turned on. Like, we have a family plan, and I'm pretty sure there's 4 Switches and none of them have been turned on in at least 2 years, so. But they had no problem billing me, so. But I also didn't bitch about it, so.
I did actually turn on my Switch this week and went to their Nintendo arcade, and I played some of the original Donkey Kong for probably about an hour on the couch.
Oh, nice.
Like, oh, this game's awesome.
Yeah.
I miss those classic, games. They're so fucking tough.
Yep. Fuck them.
All right.
Well, no one's in chat. No one gave us more stories, so that's all we got, Selden.
Chat has failed us.
Yeah. So if any of you have stories for next week, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooledplay.com or comment on this episode's thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! If we had them, we'd pay them, but we don't, so we won't. But if you're going to give us a new chicklet for the show or a new intro, then you're our sponsor, and we're going to pimp your shit for at least a month. So throw some shit our way, and we'll take care of you. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool Player, everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. Facebook the fuck out of us, facebook.com/Tool to Play. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. That is like your DVR from hell. So you can find all of Tool to Play's content there. Every bit of archive content from the beginning of history till now. You can watch the What is Tool to Play video. You can watch Hits Quick Hits featuring LB and Duty. No, that's not right. Hits Quick Hits. You can watch what the fuck's their other show called? Yeah. Tons of shows that we've forgotten.
Thick and thin.
Thick and Thin with LB and Duty featuring I6 Hitman, Tiff's immature interviews, Selden's special cam show. And by special, I just mean it was something special.
Got me where I am today.
That's why he's here now. He proved himself on the casting couch.
So wrong.
This is so wrong is right. But go there and you can find archived episodes of all of our shows and follow us there and you'll never miss anything. Please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. We could use some 5-star reviews, and if you got an extra couple seconds, write something nice about the show. I'm sure Shitty Android has some version of this as well as Amazon Podcasts.
Amazon Podcasts.
They must have some way to do this on whatever site their thing is. It's probably something off of Amazon, but definitely rate and review us on Amazon Podcasts because that seems to be our new ingress vector. So please do that. We have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/still_got_game. That's one of the many places we broadcast live each and every week. So definitely go there and follow us. We have a Discord where you can chat with the celebrities that you see on your screen right now, as well as many more. That Discord is at discord.me/stillgotgame. That's discord.me/ all in lowercase stillgotgame. Let's move on to our own shit, Selden. What do you got to pimp this week?
Be nice to your neighbor. It's winter. It's cold. If your neighbor is elderly or otherwise incapacitated or has young children that can't get out and do their stuff, shovel their driveway or something.
Help them shovel out.
Help them shovel out or something like that. I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but the East Coast got walloped with some snow this week, so I took my snowblower and I plowed out a few driveways down the street. So helped my neighbors out and
Good Samaritan.
Did some good Samaritan stuff. So, just be kind, be nice and everything like that. Otherwise, you can follow me on linktr.ee/Selden007. It's such a difficult thing to say.
One day, Linktree will change their URL to be something better.
All right. Yes. Just search up Linktree, Selden007, and you'll find all the other links to my socials. Nice. You can check out all my hiking videos and my biking videos and my stupid other social posts. So
you'd rather watch the dick cam videos, just saying.
No. My hiking photos are awesome.
You said that with an inflection like you were trying to convince yourself. Like, my hiking photos are awesome.
Awesome. I was thinking about making some NFTs out of some of those photos. You can buy them when I put them up.
Oh, see, there you go, guys. Selden is usurping this podcast as his own NFT minting franchise. So
I'd have to first buy some crypto to be able to do that. And I don't think I'm going to do that. Crypto is such a disaster. Anyways, what about you? What do you got to pimp?
All right. Well, I would like to pimp at this point. I'm trying to think of a good. Let's do Able Gamers this week. Like, take care of the Able Gamers, guys. They've made great strides. They're pulling a lot of press lately, but you can never support disabled gamers too much. So look into Able Gamers and throw some shekels their way. As far as my own shit, I'm at linktr.ee/Derek Nolan. That's how you say it the right way. linktr.ee/Derek Nolan. And my Linktree has all of my shit as well as all the show shit. So go there, follow, subscribe, and I don't disappoint. I deliver. So. And I also I want to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. YouTube.com/tool2play, Facebook.com/tool2play, and Twitch.tv/still_got_game. And on that, why don't we wrap this Everybody Blew Me and Selden Off episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Chris Selden 007 Selden.
That's 2 in a row for 2022.